Hey Muse Makers, welcome back. Today we're doing a tutorial on a lovely cactus on a couple of rocks, some rock formations, very beautiful. My paint palette today is red, yellow, green, blue, white, black, and brown. I have some mixing plates to mix up all my colors, a can of water, some paper towels, and I'm working with 3 different types of paintbrushes today. I have one big square flat brush, one medium flat brush that's more round at the edge, and then I have one small round pointy brush for all the fine details. Now, first thing we're going to do is mix up the colors that are going to be in this rock formation. Before we actually get to that section though, we are going to be etching out the basic shape for this. So with my small pointy brush in yellow paint, we're drawing, starting in the middle on the left, a couple of weird ridges, little lumps and bumps going up to the top right hand corner. Then, somewhere in the middle of your canvas, we have this sort of boulder shape. This is sort of like the little archway that we see through into our sky. Then we're going to take our flat brush that's round at the edge, and we're going to be mixing up a couple of colors for our rock. The first one is going to be a light peach, so I'm going to grab a big scoop of white, a tiny bit of yellow, tiny bit of red. Next color, I'm going to grab a little bit of white, big scoop of red, touch of brown, and maybe even a little touch of black. This one's more of like a mauve-y type of purple wine shade. My next color is going to be a little bit of white, big scoop of yellow, small touch of red, small touch of brown. This one's more on the warmer side. A nice warm brown shade is what we're going for here. And the last color is actually going to be a blue. This just helps to break up the colors a little bit, add something a little bit brighter and more fun into our rock formation. So I'm going to be grabbing a scoop of white and a little bit of our blue to mix up a light baby sky blue. Now we're going to start with this blue. In our rock formation, keeping within these yellow lines, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect within the lines, it's okay if you go over. We're going to be throwing random lines of these colors throughout. You can see that I'm stopping where I have that boulder shape and then continuing the line on the other side. Obviously you wouldn't have to do that if you go above that shape or below that shape. So I'm starting with the blue, throwing a couple of lines in here or there, and you're going to want to act fairly quickly. We are going to be doing a ton of blending in this section of our painting, so throw those lines in pretty quick. They don't have to be absolutely beautiful or perfect. I'm going to clean off my brush, and next I'm going to be getting into that peach color. I'm going to be throwing a couple of lines into it as well. I even have to mix up some more because the paint does dry just that quick. Alright, throwing a couple of lines in. I'm not worried about blending anything together just yet. There's a lot more of this color than there is with the blue. Gonna get a clean brush. And my next color is going to be this mauve purple. This is going to give some nice shadows to some areas. Clean brush, and then the last color is going to be this lovely warm brown. Now while this paint is still wet, we're going to get a clean brush and we're going to be grabbing a little bit of white paint on our brush and just going over everything in long brush strokes to blend them all together. If for some reason they're not blending, you can always go back into the colors you have mixed up on your plate and add them right back on top to this white section after we're done trying to blend it all together. This is to give the illusion of rock layers, because over time the layers keep building and erosion happens and you can see what's underneath the rock, and that's what we're really seeing here in this archway. Now the white really does mute it down, so if you again want it to seem brighter or you want to add the colors back on top, you totally can. I'm going to work with this thing for a little while. Feel free to get it to where you're happy with. Once you're happy with your rock formation, we're going to be working on the sky. Getting a clean brush, that same brush we've been using for the rock formation, is going to get a little scoop of white and a big scoop of blue. This is more of a brighter sky blue. And we're going to be filling in the rest of the white sections in our painting. So that top left-hand corner that you see that's all white there, as well as that boulder shape that's in the middle of our rock. Feel free to really crisp up the lines where it touches the rock formation, so there's a nice contrast between sky and rock. Next up, we are going to be doing the silhouette for the rocks that are in the foreground where our cacti are going to be sitting on. So I'm going to be taking that same brush, get it nice and clean, in some black paint. We have two little rock formations here, one on this bottom left-hand corner, just starting somewhere in the middle of that rock formation area and then wiggling it down. I'm trying to keep things very rigid, not very, round. They're more squared off, and then you can fill in that small little area. We're going to do the same thing starting on the bottom, just like an inch away from the first black amount of rocks that we have there. And then we're going to work our way up over to the right side of our canvas, making sure that we never go past midway of that blue middle section in our rock. Now I want to add some clouds to our sky. So I'm going to take that same brush, get it nice and clean, get a little bit of white on my brush, and throw a couple of random diagonal lines into my sky. While that paint's still wet, you can grab a little bit more blue on your brush to help blend it in, or even a little bit of water on your brush to blend it in. These should almost look like little gusts of wind. Now we're going to focus on the silhouette for our cacti. So with our small round pointy brush in black paint, the basic shape for a cactus is to start at the top with heavy pressure, push down pretty hard on your brush. As you get down to the rock, you ease up pressure on your brush so it's thinner at the bottom. Now for the arms, it's the same exact thing, but instead of going down onto the rock, you pull it onto the base of your cactus. You may have one or two pieces of cacti just attaching to the rock without little arms on it. Feel free to have some with more arms, some with less arms. It's up to you. We're gonna make a whole bunch here. I got two kind of smaller little sections, and then I have one big cactus that's going to go through that center of the rock formation. Once we get these silhouettes in, we are going to be doing one more step before dry break. We're going to clean off our small brown pointy brush, and we're going to be painting in the little sun. So just a little bit of white paint is all you need. A tiny little circle somewhere up here in the left part of our sky. Mine's about the size of like a dime or a penny. Now once you let your painting dry, it's time to come back into our cacti to add some green coloring and make them really pop. I'm going to be mixing together some green and yellow paint, maybe even a touch of white to make it more opaque with my small pointy brush. In each of the arms and the base of the cactus, you're going to be drawing little lines. I would say maybe 2 or 3 per line in the cactus. And you want this to follow the curve. So if you have an arm that goes down and then curves to the right, you're also going to draw a line that goes down and then curves to the right. Now I want to add a little bit of a highlight, so I'm going to brighten up the screen with some more yellow and more white paint to now we have a lime green. To add this into our cacti, we're simply going to be doing a dotting motion starting from the tops of the cactus and little dots that go downward, and then as you get down towards the bottom, they dissipate and go away. So they're more focused at the top, barely any or none down at the bottom. We're going to do this to almost every single top of each cactus and their arms. Now we want to add some texture to the rocks that our cacti are sitting on. We want to make them a little bit more brown in color. So with a clean, round, pointy brush, just taking some straight brown paint on my brush and throwing a couple like random little rigid lines throughout the tops of the rock ridges, and as well as a couple random lines maybe in the middle, but focusing it more near the top where the light would be hitting it more so. You can feel free to use your finger to sort of make it seem like it's blending into the black background. Our brown paint tends to be very see-through if you make it thin enough. So you can even take your finger, like I did right here, and just make it seem like it's sort of blending more in. Then we're gonna add a highlight to this to make it even brighter right on the edge. So I'm gonna take just a little bit of brown, teeny tiny bit of white is all you need. Very thin lines just on the tippy top edges of these rocks. Now that is the last and final step to creating this beautiful cacti masterpiece. Don't forget to sign your painting so everyone knows it is yours. Be proud of your artwork, and we'd love to see what you painted at home. Feel free to post on social media and tag us at muse_paintbar so we can check them out. If you want to see more from our channel, make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to always paint outside the lines.